Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Dreams of Yesterday. This is designed by Heather O'Neill. The artwork is by Beth Sobel, and it is published by, or will be published by Weird Giraffe Games.
That's right. This is a preview. This is Dreams of Yesterday. This is kind of a sequel, a micro game follow-up to Dreams of Tomorrow. There's lots of time travel going on here.
Lots of dreams, lots of time.
So basically what's happening in this game is you have these 27 cards. Just all it is 27 cards this whole game. You have this rondel kind of Mancala style action selection thing happening. You're trying to collect as many artifacts as possible. You have 3 types of resources. Kind of a lot going on for just a simple 27 cards. It's pretty cool. Let me give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, here's our setup for Dreams of Yesterday. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to get a resource that has 2 resources on it, as well as an artifact of some kind. There are 3 different kinds of resources. We've got the knowledge, we've got the prestige, we've also got money over there. There's also 3 kinds of artifacts. We have the orange, which is the astonishing antiquities. We have the blue over here. We also have over here, which is the bygone bones. And then we have the pink. We have a similar one over here, which is the cultural curiosities. We might also come across some wild cards, which are diverse discoveries. And then later on, at the end of the game, we'll see unusual urns. Based off the number of players, we're going to set up kind of a circular track here. Works kind of like a Mancala almost. Basically, we're going to start from wherever that blank spot is, and then we're going to be able to either move 1 or 2 spots, taking one of those 2 cards, and then we're going to refill where we started with the deck, and we're going to leave where we landed blank. You basically have 3 different areas on your player area. The top area is all going to be where you're going to place your resources that you're going to be used to buying cards. And then you have 2 layers over here at the bottom that are going to be for placing all of your different artifacts that you find. So in this case, we already have one of these rows started. What you're trying to do is you are trying to create as long of a chain of these artifacts as possible, and ideally you want to have things that are matching in color next to each other. Some cards off to the right are also going to have some kind of a special ability. This particular one says, every turn you're going to be able to flip over one of the cards in what they call the histories, this action selection over here. Some of the abilities will turn some of your resources into wilds. Sometimes you'll get extra free resources. There's all kinds of special abilities. Whatever the farthest right card in your row is going to have that action, and that's what you're going to be able to use each turn. Based off the number of players, we are going to get rid of some cards off the beginning of the game, and then also, all of these earn cards that are in the deck, we're going to remove those as well, and we might see those again later. We've got our earn cards, we're going to set those aside, and the rest of the cards we're going to shuffle up is going to be our draw pile. We're going to set off to the side over here. So on your turn, again, you're going to start from the blank spot, and you're going to move 1 to 2 spots. You can also spend some resources in order to flip cards over. All the cards in this entire game are double-sided, so you can spend a resource to flip a card over, or you can spend resources to additionally move extra spaces. So for instance, if we really, really wanted that card over there, we could spend an extra resource to move 1, 2, and then the third resource to get to that card. In this case, let's just move over 1 spot, grab that resource. Now we're going to refill a spot from where we first started. We're going to take the top card of the deck, we're going to flip it over, see which one we like best, and we're going to put it down. Let's say the next person takes their turn, they go 1, 2 spots, they take their resources, they put it in their spot. Once again, they're going to take the card, they're going to flip it over, see which one they like best, and they're going to put that wherever they started. All right, now it's back to our turn. This card, we're really interested in this. We have a bone card over here already, and that card has a bone on it as well. It costs some knowledge and some prestige. What we can do is we can discard these cards and add that card into one of our rows. You can choose to either put it in the behind or in front of. In this case, in order to keep the bones together, we want to place it behind. And as always, we're going to refill the spot behind us where we started. We're going to keep on doing that, and as soon as this deck runs out, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our discard pile, we're going to shuffle that up, we're going to add in our earn cards as well at that point, and we're going to make a new draw pile. You might come across one of these. This is a wild card. This counts as any one of the 3 artifacts. So now it's showing that basically we have 3 of those bones in a row. Now that the earn cards have been introduced as well, you can place those. What it's going to do is it's going to close off that exhibit, that particular row. Now that you've closed that off, you can never add to it or change it again. However, it's going to give you some extra points as well. So for instance, we're going to get 1 point for having a pink here by itself. We're going to get 6 points for having 3 blues in a row. We're also going to get 3 points for this particular urn. And then it says we have 1 point per pinks. So altogether we've got 1, we've got 6, now we're at 7, 8, 9, 10. This is going to give us 11 points for this particular exhibit. Don't forget, every player is going to have 2 exhibits that they can work on at any given time. And also, the game and trigger is either having a situation where we need to refill our row over here, our histories, but we don't have a discard pile, or if all the players have 2 exhibits, both with an urn finishing them off, that can trigger the end of the game as well. At that point, you're going to add up your victory points, and whoever has the most victory points wins the game. There's a small section in the rulebook as well, a little chart here that shows you, based off of how long of a row of one particular kind of artifact you have in an exhibit, how many points you're going to get. So basically, the longer you can get, if you can get all the way up to 6, that's worth 21 points. So that can be very lucrative. Now remember, this is a pre-production copy, so all the art is subject to change, as well as the rulebook and the box as well.
As always, I just love Beth Sobel art, and this game is no different. I really liked the artwork in it. It was evocative. It brought you towards the theme of trying to create these epic time museums as you're traveling through all of this, and I just thought the artwork was very evocative of the theme.
I love rondel-style games or Mancala-style action games, those kinds of things that where you are going around in a circle and you're taking different actions based off whatever you land on. And, man, I really enjoyed that about Dreams of Tomorrow. I liked it just as much, if not more, in Dreams of Yesterday. I mean, it was just so cool the way that you usually have meeples going on a track, right? But the meeple, you don't have anything. All you have is the cards. So how would you represent that? In this case, the lack of a component where a card isn't is where you are. The lack of the component is the component. I thought this was a great way, a great use of table space, a great way to use, get a lot of bang for having, such a few components to be able to make such a great use out of it. I thought that was completely innovative, very interesting, and again, I just loved how going around the circle, trying to plan out how far ahead do you want to go on the track, being able to make the most use of that, all with just a few cards.
Speaking of there only being such a few cards, all the cards are double-sided, and one of the things that I thought was neat about that is on every card you could see a picture of what was on the other side. Now, if it was an artifact of some type, you didn't know the cost of it. It just showed you that that was there. And if it was urn, if it was an urn, it didn't tell you what the bonus was, but it told you that on the other side of this card is an urn, or on the urn, it tells you on the other side you get these resources. So I really liked that with it, like Ryan said, so little out there, you could still see, or so little components. That's how they made it more, is all these double-sided cards, and the fact that you can see that, like, you know what you have access to and you know what's out there. And even when you fill, you can choose which side. So sometimes you're like, you're not getting that. You're gonna have to work extra to get that face down.
I think that one of the things I look for in games the most is looking for meaningful decisions. Games that have meaningful decision points. And this game is kind of full of them. They're small little decision points, right? Should we go 1 space or 2 spaces? Or if you're really crazy, you can spend resources to go a 3rd space or whatever you want to do. But then, so basically you're trying to figure out which one you want to take. But then if you are able to take one of the artifacts, do you put it before the row? Or do you put it after the row? Which special effects do you cover up? Which special effects do you enact? So there's lots of different things that you can do with just a small, that one decision point of grabbing a card. You're either grabbing resources or you're grabbing an artifact and paying resources. But man, the ability to kind of math it out and figure out what you want to do on your turn, trying to grow your exhibits as long as possible is a lot of fun. And even just this really small microgame like this, there's a lot more meaningful decisions than you would think at first glance.
If this game sounds interesting to you, I would definitely check it out on Kickstarter. It's a cute little micro game that literally is going to be tiny and able to be carried around with you because it's only those cards.
Yeah, I agree. Check out the Kickstarter. It's going to be around March 7th is when it's going to be launching. And this is a preview copy, so the boxes are going to be a little different, maybe a little larger. There's going to be some graphic design updates, things like that. But the core game is going to stay the same, which is fine with me because I had a great time playing it. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places. You guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.